Hello and welcome. My name is Piers Ridyard. I am the CEO of RDX Works, a core developer of the decentralized finance protocol Radix, a public ledger entirely focused on bringing DeFi into the mainstream. Today, I'm going to be interviewing Konstantin, who was one of our winners from the Radix Hackathon that happened in Barcelona a few weeks back and was creating or has created a really cool project called PawNFT or PawNFT. I really struggle with that. Called PawNFT, which we're going to go into the details of. But before we do that, first of all, congratulations.
Thanks so much.
And secondly, let's dive into a little bit about yourself. So, give us some of your background. When did you get into crypto? What's been your journey so far? And how did you hear about Radix and the hackathon?
Sure. I've been in software development for about 15 years total, and I got into crypto about 5 years ago. Well, I learned about crypto before that, but then 5 years ago, I started working in the industry. Mostly worked with Ethereum network, built some Solidity smart contracts, that kind of stuff. It was always fun, especially back in the day when it was just, I felt like a Wild West kind of thing. There were no rules, and then, all sorts of madness. And then I learned about Radix a couple of years ago. A friend of mine told me about it, and I looked into it, and I was like, wow, that's a pretty cool concept. This whole developer-friendly approach, and then the approach to the network itself, to the Radix engine, like the fact that the tokens are native entities. There's no ERC20 kind of stuff, and then no tokens can be lost, and all those great concepts. I really loved the idea, and then also linear scalability. That was like a big thing, which seemed like impossible at the time. And then I was also curious about it, but I didn't get my hands dirty with it until I saw the Radix Hackathon event in Barcelona somewhere, and I was like, I should definitely try it out and go build something. And then I started thinking about what should I build. Was doing some market research, looking at what projects were already there, and I was like, man, what should I build? I couldn't think about what should I build. I was like, it was already 2 days till the event, and I have no idea what I built, and I was like stressing out about it. And then one day I was like, maybe I should just let it go, and it'll come. I was sitting on my header, smoking a cigar, and then it hit me. What if I build a NFT lending platform? Because I knew there were some NFT marketplaces on Radix, but I didn't think there were some NFT lending kind of thing. So I looked into that. There was no projects like that on Radix, but there was some project like that on Ethereum, and we're having some pretty good volumes. And I think it's a great concept to let people with those NFTs, instead of just holding them or trading them, let them access this liquidity so they can do more stuff without losing their assets. I think it's a great concept, and I think it's pretty valuable. As an NFT, I don't have a lot of NFTs, but as an NFT holder myself, I think it's a great concept that you could borrow against those. So,
yeah, for sure. I think that anything that makes a asset more useful makes the asset itself more valuable as well, right? Like, so like if I have an NFT, fine, but I can only sell it. But if I can use it as collateral and borrow against it, suddenly the NFT itself becomes more valuable because it's more useful as a financial instrument as well as a cool thing to own. So without further ado, let's bring up the front end, and you can talk a little bit about what you actually built from a user perspective, and then we can dive into a little bit about the actual build itself.
Sounds good. So this is the landing page. It's very basic because I did have too much time. It was only 2 days to build the whole thing. So, and this was the last thing I built. So I was trying to hack something together. But I try to keep it simple so it's easy to understand what it is. So it tells you right there that you can use your NFTs to get a loan. That's the concept. And then you click borrow if you have NFTs, or lend if you have capital to provide. So let's say you click borrow. Again, this is very basic. It's not anywhere near production ready or even an MVP ready, but it works. All you need to do is specify the amount of XRD tokens you want to borrow, the duration of the loan in days, and the APR you're going to pay. And then you just pick your NFTs that you want to use as collateral and click borrow. And then that'll prompt your Radix wallet to sign a transaction and to give those NFTs to the newly created component on chain. And then it'll give you an NFT that represents your loan request back to your wallet.
An NFT of your NFT.
Pretty much, yeah. So it's sort of like a matryoshka, I guess. And then on the other side, people with tokens to lend, they can go to the lend page and they can see all these loan requests made by different people. So they look, right now this version does not include, it doesn't even show you what NFTs are being used as collateral.
Yeah.
I couldn't, but there will be there, of course. So they see how much money they want, what's the duration of the loan, how much interest they're willing to pay, and they can decide whether they want to give them a loan or not, whether they like the collateral and get loan terms or not. If they don't like it, then they can just pass, look for another loan request. But if they do like it, they issue a loan, and then that'll give their tokens to the loan requester, and it'll give the loan issuer another NFT that represents the same loan, but on the other side. So this NFT gives their access to either the loan payment, if the lender pays it back in full, or gives them access to their collateral if they default on their loan. And so those NFTs,
it also allows them to, that also allows them to trade it away if they want to, right? So they're like, I've got this loan, it's maturing in 15 days, but I actually need the cash, so I can go sell this loan NFT and someone else can take on this sort of the remaining 15 days.
Yeah, they could sell it, or again, they could use it as collateral for another loan. Like it has some value, right? So they can put it up as a collateral.
Yeah, I mean, you with that simple concept, you just introduced the idea, like you just introduced the concept of securitization. Basically, if you can put multiple NFTs into a single loan,
yeah, you could, so it could be like 2008 all over again.
Yeah. Well, 2008, but where you can actually see exactly what the underlying collateral is, rather than having no idea what the underlying collateral is.
Yeah. So it's
cool. Okay, and so from the demo point of view, I don't think we have time to go through like every single screen here, but like it works. You can put up an NFT, you can request a loan, you can then, someone else can take that loan, provide the XRD, get back the NFT position, and you can then at the end of the term the loan replays. And I'm assuming when I click my loans, I'm seeing all of the ones that I am currently holding or I'm currently providing at the moment.
Yeah, either holding or providing.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the build itself. So I'm assuming that quite a large proportion of this was actually the back end smart contracts and a
Yep.
little less on the front end. But just talk about generally like where you spent most of your time, what you built on the Scrypto Radix engine side, and a little bit about like your experience versus Solidity and how you found it over a 2-day hackathon period.
Right. Well, I think the hardest part was switching my brain from Solidity to Scrypto because everything's so different, even the basic stuff like tokens. And then the NFTs are also built in, which is great. I think you don't have to hack some crazy stuff to support NFTs, so it's all built in. And so just this reshifting my gears so I could use Scrypto was pretty hard. But then once I let it sink in and then started doing stuff, it kind of became more natural and easy. And once you're full in, it's kind of hard to go back to Solidity at this point. Because like there's so many things that could be better, but they're not going to be better with Solidity. And then about the build itself, I think the most time I spent was just figuring out how the whole authorization system works, presenting proofs during a transaction. Like as a borrower, I have this NFT and I need to present it when I interact with a loan, right? I don't want to let anybody to pay for my loan and take my collateral, right? So I need to have some kind of authorization. And so I need to see whether they own this NFT that gives them access to this loan. So that was a fairly new concept to me. So it took me some time to figure that out. And and then and the same on the lender side. But it's like once I figured it out, I was like, wow, this is so great that you could like give people access based on those NFTs and then they can transfer them. That's like, wow. And it's all built into the Radix engine. I don't have to have some crazy smart contract that manages all those access rules. Yeah, and figuring the access rules, also figuring out how to, like I have two different components. One component that keeps track of all of the loans created. It has some stats basically, like how many loans were created in total, just for easier for reporting overall stats easier. But every single loan has its own component, so it's completely decentralized, like not one giant Solidity contract that keeps track of everything. Every single loan is a separate component on chain. So that was like another concept that wasn't that easy to wrap my head around. And then how do I make sure when this new loan component interacts with the main component that keep tracks of everything? How do I make sure that I authorize access? Like what if somebody creates a loan component on their own and then they can mint those borrower and lenders, and I need to make sure it's coming from within the same package. So just figuring out all those access rules was a big part of it.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the hidden. It's one of the hidden powers, and it's also one of the hidden things that once you get your head round, is so powerful. But it takes a bit of time to get your head around. Like the auth model within the Radix engine and Scrypto is something that the team spent a very long time, like iterating and getting right. But like once you understand it, you just use it everywhere. It's just such a useful pattern to use against so many different ways in which the smart contracts interact with each other, with which the tokens interact with each other, with which users interact with the token and smart contracts. Like it just becomes this repeating, highly composable, highly useful pattern that you can just go ahead and use everywhere. That was one of my, that definitely was one of the things that yeah, it took me a while to fully comprehend the power of it. But once I understood the power of it, I saw like immediately how flexible it became for development. So, you talk to you. This was one of the reasons that we like selected you as one of the winners, was because we were just like, you've had to use so many bits of the Radix engine and Scrypto and get up the curve and learn it and understand it very quickly, and demonstrate an ability to deploy things effectively using that. Like, what was your what did you most enjoy about the script once you got up to speed and you were like starting to be productive? Like, what did you enjoy most, or what did you find most interesting about sort of building PawNFT using Scrypto and the Radix engine?
I think I probably enjoy most this, like figuring out this out model, and then this whole idea that I can have an NFT that gives me access to this loan. That was like a mind-blowing concept to me. And then seeing it work when I deployed it to testnet, and I apply for a loan, I get an NFT, and I can see it in my wallet. I don't have to even log into the app. I can see it in my wallet that I have a loan. That I think to me is just pretty incredible experience. Just seeing that in your wallet, it's like, wow. And then the lenders, like, they can just log in, open up their wallet, and they see everything, their loans, their tokens. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, what are the next steps? What are your plans now? What are you doing next with PawNFT? Jesus, PawNFT. Like, where, like, are you planning to launch this on Radix? And what's going to happen after that?
Yeah, I do want to launch it on Radix. I need to, as you could see, I need to polish up the product a bit. And then, yeah, I do plan on launching it on Radix mainnet. I'll need to reach out to existing NFT holders for feedback. I ideally want to do some customer feedback sessions to make sure I'm building this product that people actually need and the way they want to use it. So I'm going to do some changes and stuff, polish the UI, make sure the smart contracts is secure, so that people don't lose their money. Obviously, that's the number one goal. So it's secure and user friendly. And then I want to build up a community around it, attract people that are interested, that have NFTs on one side, and people that want to make money by providing liquidity to the NFT holders, to sort of connect them together, and go from there.
Nice. And you have I think that's really good to know that you want to speak to NFT holders. I think, any of the NFT communities in the Radix ecosystem, Abandoned Scorpions, Radical Penguins, Radishes, and a bunch of others that like have come along, they should definitely reach out to you. So what's the best way of reaching you? Are you going to create a group in Telegram for this? Like, how should they get hold of you?
Yeah, I'll create a Telegram group, and that'll be the best way to reach out to me.
Awesome. So if you get that across to me, and I'll make sure that goes out with the video as well. And then yeah, like, really looking forward to it. And congratulations again. It sounds
so
like
much.
you've had your first stage of your Radix revelation properly delivered now with building with Scrypto and the Radix engine.
Yeah, totally.
And so yeah, welcome to the Radix community. We're so
Thank
happy
you.
to see you sort of looking to build this on, and I'm sure the everyone who owns NFTs in Radix is going to be excited to use it as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's exciting. And I also wanted to thank you. You gave me an idea at the hackathon when I asked about the this whole idea. You told me that it'd be cool if I could package those loans, basically bundle them together based on risk, and then let
Yeah,
people on the other side to provide liquidity easier, just based on their
yeah,
risk profile, depending on the NFT collection liquidity and all of this stuff. Package those loans. I think it's a great idea. I do want to see more activity on the Radix network, more NFT marketplaces with more automated trading and stuff. So this would be achieved.
yeah.
Like, so I could do liquidations and stuff like that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, for sure. I think that the you know, the thing that was key there was this evolution of ETH lends to Aave, right? Like early days of ETH lend, you had a similar system. You had people offering lends and people people offering borrows and people taking lends against that. But it was like a per person selection. From a borrower point of view, that makes sense. I want to borrow against this collateral and I'm willing to pay these rates. But from a lend perspective, it's pain in the ass. If you've got
Yeah,
money,
totally.
if you're buy
You just want
side,
more
people come to
money.
you don't go to them, right? So just like I just want to be able to go, this is my parameters, here's the money, and as long as those parameters are met, I don't really care what's underneath it. And so that like sort of I think the key for Aave was really making it as easy as possible for the liquidity, the lender side. So that was really where that's at. So I love the fact that you're very welcome, and I love the fact you're thinking about that more as well. But like I also love the MVP process. Just get something out, get it
Yep.
working, work with the communities, work with the people who are going to be your key customers, and like iterate from there. Because that's what ETHLend did. That's what Aave did, right? They started with ETHLend, didn't quite work, moved to another thing, but like it didn't matter, like because they built their customer base, they built their user base, and they went from there. So like I'm sure you're going to be, if you're able to build this much Scrypto code and get it up and running from a standing start over a 2-day period for this, then I have no doubt that you'll do great things in the community.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, and yeah, speak soon.